let's talk a little football, shall we? Congrats to the Rapoport family. I know this is a big deal for all of you. And we've experienced this alongside Rap now for the 4 years. I think Max said he has done this. So we were there like the first year you did this, and wow, we thought you were a horrendous father.
Without a doubt.
I mean, you could feel our.
And now?
Now it's like, feels like the boys love it. In the life experience, in living away from home, having to get over the homesick, meet new friends, have to take care of yourself, learning new skills. I don't think I'd be able to ever do it because obviously kids play sports, I think, and that's kind of goes through summer every once in a while. I don't know how that kind of gets handled in this situation, but like,
yeah,
I get it.
I mean, they play a ton of sports at camp, but like, there's a couple travel, like mostly for travel baseball or for lacrosse that they can't do because they're away, and like, that kind of sucks, but they get a lot of sports.
Yeah, but they're still here up there.
Yeah.
How old are they?
What's that?
How old are the boys? How old are the boys?
They're 10 and Max. Jude's 10. Max is almost 12.
It's amazing as a 10-year-old going to have to experience life. I assume it's quite a head start.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I would go on soccer tournaments. Like I went to Europe a couple times as a teenager, and like that was, I felt like a very cultured individual
Without a doubt.
coming back, seeing how like other people, and then I had teammates, obviously they were from like New York City and like even more Italian somehow out of Jersey and all these other places. It's like getting a chance to meet all these people. That's a good thing, I think, for life experiences. 7 weeks away from your parents, though, is an insane move.
Yeah. The private school that I ended up transferring to, I missed this because it happens freshman year, but like with incoming classes, since it's
this is New England.
In New England, yeah, incoming classes, the first 4 weeks, I guess the first 2 weeks because they go for a full month. The freshman class goes up to this place Bivouac, and it's like a camp.
Oh,
it's a campground like that, and they spend the first a month in this camp getting to know like your high school class.
Do you think like it's a great idea, by the way, to bring everybody together?
It is.
Yeah,
it is a good idea.
It's like training camp. Whenever training camp somewhere else, which we will dive into here in a little bit with you, Rap, after we wrap up this conversation. Do you think New England has just been doing it since the beginning of time? It's just kind of one of those things.
I do. Yeah, actually, especially with New Hampshire and Maine and Vermont, like. It's very, very common to use.
Get these kids
spots.
out of our house.
Yeah, there's lakes up there too, so like there's so many different spots you can put campgrounds around. It gets rowdy up there though. I've heard some stories about some kids up at camp.
Yeah, I assume Max and Jude are really. I think they probably enjoy a little bit of the freedom. Now, if I had that freedom at that age, I would probably try to be working some hustle. I don't know what the hustle would be at the camp, but I assume there is some sort of.
We figure it out.
Yeah, there would be something.
Bet they did.
And I hope Max and Jude are doing the same exact thing. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the NFL. Talking about hustle, $120 million will be paid by the Cincinnati Bengals. The other $350 million will be paid by Hamilton County for renovations to Paycor Stadium. Do we have any other information on this? Like, is this supposed to happen this offseason, by next football season? When is the renovation going to take place? Because anytime we see a stadium have to get worked on, normally people aren't allowed to be in the stadium while it's getting worked on. In stadium construction, we assume long time. So how do these renovations kind of work? And did we know this was going to happen? Was there ever a chance Cincinnati Bengals were going to leave Cincinnati?
I didn't personally think there was a chance they were going to leave. And I sort of lean on, there's a couple of these other ones that are still like ongoing where it's like there's some doubt. Like Cleveland's doing one. Chicago's doing one where it's sort of like, are they going to leave the city? Are they not? And, you can see like if you Kansas City's another one. If you're some other place, literally any other place, you're dying for a stadium, right? Because of how many people come in, because of what it sort of means for your area, because you can build up all around with bars and restaurants and entertainment. I mean, you can do a ton of things. So it's like there is competition from some of these other places, and what they do is they offer money, right? I mean, they offer public money to say like, we are going to lure you away. And that was obviously, that was going on here. I am happy, just for me, someone who I like stadiums to be in cities. I like Cincinnati and where it is. And I know for the fans, like it's a great spot. I was happy this got done. As far as the details, I'm not sure, but I don't believe it's going to affect anything football wise. Like the only thing that really does affect football is when they are like materially changing the stadium. I think this is going to be okay because I haven't heard that they're going to play in another place, but I would agree this is very, very good news for Cincinnati. And then, it's already been a place that people will want to play because they have Joe Burrow and they're going to be very good. And I think this helps.
How about Trey Hendrickson? What do we got going on there?
Still nothing. I would say as you get closer to training camp, we'll see if this ends up getting done. I remain optimistic that they're going to find the number, get it done, lock him in long term, just because that's what everybody wants. I was at Tight End U a couple days ago in Nashville talking to some of the other.
No big deal.
There's Bengals. No big deal. I didn't hang out with Taylor, but I did hang out with some of the other people. Which missed that night, which is whatever. When it's not like you want to see an.
That's not really a rap sheet to miss.
No,
that's not a miss. You would not miss that. That seems like the only event you would go to.
Correct. Down bad.
Because how many people? Not just we didn't. Obviously, I don't think anybody knew Taylor was going to perform.
I know.
They just had that conversation. But everybody else that was there, the amount of rap sheet.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you want some tequila?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit.
Booze was flowing.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
It would have been. I tried to get back and forth in one day so I wouldn't miss the kids because they're leaving.
7 weeks.
The night before, I will tell you this.
Good dad.
The night before, there was like a little party in a bar with all the tight ends when Taylor was there. And I heard a story about some like semi, teenager comes up to her, doesn't say anything, takes a selfie with her, and then tries to walk away, and she grabbed him around the shoulders in a big bear hug and like took her own selfie with him.
That's awesome.
And I was like, that's the kind. She was just hanging out with everyone, and I'm like, definitely wouldn't have wanted to been there for nights.
Yeah, she would have thought you were a little child. Come here, little guy,
buddy.
Where are your parents?
She was all right. She was a sick one.
She's definitely taller than me. I mean, if she took the selfie, she'd have to do it
on her knees.
There's a chance. I mean, she's very athletic. We thought about her potentially becoming a part of the women's Olympics flag football team because, I mean, she's at tight end U. She's with Travis Kelce, one of the greatest receivers of all time. She's tall, athletic. See her move, dance. She has great memory, obviously. Hey, need you to run a little.
Yeah.
That's a great thought, though.
Stick nod.
She's a football girl at this point. She is. I mean, she's getting tight end university, playing in Nashville in front of 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Hey, that's some G shit.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think
good shit. That's
that is good shit.
Yeah.
That's that good shit.
Yeah.
That is that good shit. That is awesome. Okay, last thing about Cincinnati here before we move to new stuff. The coolest looking guy in the room, whatever room he is in, Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, welcome to the Jungle Rap.
I wasn't going to say anything, but God, that's amazing. Go ahead.
Yeah. I appreciate that very much. And please call me sir. But with the Bengals, the other situation is Shemar Stewart. That kind of came out of nowhere. Now it's become this whole entire thing. Is there any sort of progress when it comes to his contract? And is it still just being held up over that one small thing that the Bengals have never put in any contracts before and wanted to start doing this with Shemar?
Yes, this is what it's coming down to. And I saw some comments from the agent, Zach Hiller, who was saying, well, if they want to take this, basically if they want this new language, they should offer us something. This is kind of one of the problems with these rookie deals. There's not a lot to offer. There's not a lot to negotiate, right? I mean, this is the same problem that Roquan Smith ran into, and that was over a different issue. That was over offset language. But the teams don't have a ton to give because the money's set. It's all guaranteed anyway. Signing bonuses that you can, say like, all right, we'll pay you in September or December. Like, it doesn't matter. You're getting it all anyway. So there's just not a lot to negotiate from. This should get worked out. There is literally no reason that this shouldn't get worked out. And, from the Bengals standpoint, a lot of the teams around him use similar language. I don't believe that this would actually affect any guaranteed money.
So this is normal? Wait, this is normal?
It's not normal for the Bengals. But it's normal for teams, for plenty of other teams. More than half the teams use a similar language, but the Bengals haven't. So that's why you could sort of see both sides like, okay, well, why me? And the Bengals are like, why not now?
My understanding was that it wasn't a lot of people. My understanding was that it was brought out of nowhere. That's like kind of how I was kind of talking about.
I also don't think it, again, easy for me to say it's not my contract, but I don't believe this will affect very much at all. It's all guaranteed. So, I mean, this should get worked out a couple of days before camp. We've seen so many early contracts this year.
So, hold on. Did the Bengals tell them, hey, we've never done this before, we're going to do this? Or did they get access to the previous year's first-round Cincinnati Bengals contract?
Yeah, so the union, which advises agent NFLPA, which advises agents and sort of not helps them, but like tells them what they need to know. Has obviously had conversation with the agent to be like, all right, well, this didn't exist last year for the Bengals, but now they're trying to put this in. They're trying to sort of, what was the word given? Like specify, clarify.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, to me, it should get done.
More than half the teams do it though, and if they did it last year, then is the union telling the agent, hey, they're doing this when some other teams don't? That's an interesting little dilemma there, because I was on Shemar's side completely when I heard it. I'm like, just putting a new clause in, you don't even allowed to have it. If over half the teams are doing it, the Bengals not doing it for the previous time makes sense.
Yeah. What teams though? Like, are all the teams that I feel like?
Yeah, is it good teams or cheap teams?
Yeah, is it cheap teams?
I was told a lot of the teams around them in the draft. So
so Colts.
Look at the. I mean, I don't know specifically. I don't want to say anything wrong. But I was told more than half the teams used it.
Okay, that's a good piece of information. We need to have that be our thoughts going forward, and hopefully they're able to get the job done. And Shemar, I think you're going to be great over there in Cincinnati. Brand new stadium.
That's right.
Players are.
Lipstick on that thing.
Players are pretty excited about him. Like he should be. He should be good.
Great talk. We loved everything about it. Go ahead, AJ.
Yeah, Ian, I saw the NFL suspended Justin Tucker the first 10 weeks. I guess that doesn't mean the first 10 games technically. What are the chances? I assume that he's already appealing or he already has appealed this, but is another team going to sign him up before that?
I think he accepted.
Okay, so he has not appealed. Now it's interesting, and I was reading some comments from the lawyer of the accusing women today. So basically, he has accepted the NFL's ruling, the NFL's investigation, the contents of it, saying he wants to move on, but then also says that he's innocent and is, basically didn't do what they allege, which I know has sort of frustrated the lawyer of these accusers, because basically, like, in their mind, like, he did not take accountability for this. But the NFL did their investigation, which this lawyer commended and basically stood by. And yeah, he's out the first 10 weeks. The reason why it's not 10 games is because he's a free agent. And so, my guess is he'll remain a free agent for most of the first half of the season. And then it's going to get really interesting because, all this stuff with Justin Tucker, it's all real. The NFL has determined that he did it, suspended 10 weeks. But then, you come early November, he's one of the best kickers in history. He'll be available for someone if they want to deal with signing someone who went through all this and did all this, which some teams won't, but some teams will. And he actually becomes a really interesting free agent as you get into November and December. Is someone going to sign him? And then, if a team does sign him, is he once again determining huge games?
Once again, I would like to just reiterate the fact that massage therapy is such a massive piece of professional athletics, such a massive piece of it. It has just become the norm for most professional athletes at some point to flush your muscles and flush your body. So the fact that is kind of being, I don't want to say treated as if it's not some people view it and they're talking, it's terrible that this has happened. I don't think it's good that it's happened multiple times now with professional athletes. Yeah. And I think if you think about the entire state of where we are with medicine and recovery and everything like that, it's that can't be happening. That shit's disgusting. Come on. The NFL's investigation. What is that? Is that a third party that does the investigation and reports back to the NFL? Is it the actual NFL? How do those things work? 10 weeks is a lot that's a big suspension. That's a big suspension.
A lot. I mean, that is an indication of what they found and how serious. So for instance, just so we can put this into a better, just about how big of a suspension this is. Myles Garrett, $40 million contract. Let's say he's making $40 million a year, even though signing bonuses are in there. Let's just say his salary is $40 million. Yeah. That's
over half the season. That's a $20 million plus fine.
Yeah.
That's that's a huge, this is a gigantic, 10 weeks is a long time. That is a long time. So the investigation had to have said something. Who does the who does the investigation?
So the NFL has investigators. The NFL has people that I don't want to say contract, but basically assign this case. And, a lot of times, now this was civil, and, the lawyer said they may end up, sort of left the door open for a potential lawsuit. But as you know, with Deshaun Watson, which is the only other similar case we've had for this, that was a series of civil cases that were going on. And, if there is a legal matter, like if, like what's a good, like, okay, Rashee Rice, right? His situation, the trouble he got into from a couple off seasons ago, that's still in the legal system. So the NFL will basically address that when the legal process is over.
Got it.
This wasn't like that. So the NFL, they do their own investigation. They do their own interviews. They come up with their own set of facts. And a lot of times it coincides with what the authorities come up with, but not always. And 10 games is a lot. I believe, Deshaun got 11. Is that right? I'm trying to remember.
Yes,
I believe that's right.
Yeah.
I think that's right. I mean, that is an indication of how very, very serious they took this.
Okay. Well, moving forward, can't have it. Jason, this moving forward, never going to happen again. Can't happen again. Let's chit-chat about some other free agents, shall we? Go ahead, Con Man.
Yeah, Rap Sheet, there's still a bunch of free agents out there. Stephon Gilmore, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper. There are others as well. Are teams reaching out now, or conversations already started with these guys? I know some of the elder statesmen, they're going to join August, maybe even late July. When do you expect some of these signings, and what teams are reaching out the most, trying to add to what they have?
Yeah, so I would say you mentioned a couple of them. Gabe Davis, I would put in there. Remember, I was taking a couple visits to the Saints and the Steelers. He's free, but yeah, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, I haven't heard a ton on. And there's a couple others like, Stephon Gilmore, who I believe still wants to play. Zadarius Smith is another one. It's a combination of Rasul Douglas is another one. It's a combination of, they don't want to go through the spring, and like, why would they sign until they have to? Or like, they just like a little more money. And, you really, if you're a free agent, the leverage comes right before training camp when like you want a hole filled before camp, or like 2 weeks in when you see your rookies and you're like, I thought this guy was going to contribute, but he's not. I now need a veteran corner or a veteran receiver or whatever. And there's, a couple teams that are still looking. Like if the Dolphins trade Jalen Ramsey, which I expect, they might sign a corner. Steelers are still looking for a playmaker, whether it's receiver or tight end. There's a couple other teams. Ravens, remember, signed Jair Alexander. They were kind of one of those teams just looking for one little more piece. But that probably in 3 weeks starts to heat up a little bit.
Where's Ramsey looking at, right, or who's reaching out for Ramsey right now? When would that happen?
Is that the Steelers? Yeah. Is that what was being said?
Is it?
I don't see that happening. I don't see Jalen Ramsey getting traded to the Steelers. Now,
Mama, I've been living for my life from the long.
There's no chance I know the actual lyrics. I mean,
You're not the only one.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if there was interest from the Steelers, because they really have. I mean, Omar Khan has been very open-minded about everyone available, it seems, which I kind of love that approach.
Baby.
Let's talk about the Steelers, can we? Can we elaborate on the Steelers? Yeah, because it sounds like Jalen Ramsey, you're not 100% sure. Omar Khan in any other teams?
I don't think so. Let me just finish. I don't think Ramsey for the Steelers. The Rams are the ones that make the most sense to me. It's just a really difficult deal to do given the money, so we'll see if they can figure it out.
Can't spell Ramsey without
Rams. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's what they were saying
Nailed
before.
it.
Whenever they
literally nailed it.
Need Miami to pick up some of the tab, I think is probably what LA Rams are going to say. That's what I assume that's what McVay is going to say over there in the boys. I assume they're going to say. Yeah, right? That's probably what's holding it up?
Yep.
Yeah. Got it. Okay, let's go to the Steelers. AP Tone in a really cool hat from Taylor Lewan has a question for you.
Thank you, Pat. Yeah, Ian, I've seen over the last week from the...
It is a cool hat, isn't it, Ian?
It wouldn't be my style, just being totally honest.
Whoa!
Why not?
He's Louise.
Whoa!
What's this guy's problem?
It's kind of... I mean, there's no shade. It's just like, I have a different style of cowboy hat.
No shade. There's a lot of shade all the way
not
around.
A cowboy hat.
That's the purpose.
Bowler hat.
What is it, a safari hat?
It's a rock star hat, brother. That's what rock stars wear.
Safari hat.
Looking cool,
The
man.
governor.
Clearly, you've never been in a safari.
Or watch Zach Brown do anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or seen Dr.
The
Al.
only country guy I like is your guy Parker. That's my only guy.
album out last night at midnight. Okay, download that now. Self-titled.
That guy can
McCollum. Yes, he can. Can he not? Yeah, that was actually, he was He's publicly attacked
so that's why
not
you
being
didn't-
able to sing.
That's right.
That was like the perfect thing for somebody to say about him because he's like, actually,
Oh, really?
that is my shit. I actually can do that. Anyways, back to the Pittsburgh show.
Yeah, anyway,
Stop
go ahead.
distracting from the story, please.
Yeah, and he hates country, so that's why he didn't stay for Taylor's act. I've been seeing over the
New
last.
England, New
I've been
England.
seeing from the last week. I don't know where they're getting it, but the local Pittsburgh aggregators are now reporting. Garrett, I believe I asked you or someone recently, and that was not the case. Do you think that's changed? And where are we sitting with TJ?
I have not heard that. If he gets more than Miles, I would say that is awesome for TJ. Like these are the guys you pay. Like he's great. He's a good guy. He is a face of that franchise, and like these are the kinds of guys who should get paid all of the money and should retire as a member of the Steelers or whatever like. I hope he gets it. These are tough deals to do, and I would say similar to Trey Hendrickson, because as you get a little older on these third contracts, you're still awesome, but you are getting older, and so like teams have to square that and kind of figure it out. There's different ways to structure it where teams can protect themselves and players can still get the money. I still believe it's going to work out, but I hadn't heard that number, and I hadn't heard that anything is imminent. And the Steelers, they do take things right up to the start of the season before they just cut it off. Mm-hmm. So I think we got a ways to go on this one.
Good news, though, because the way the Steelers are currently sitting, only paying a quarterback about $10 million. And then the goal, hopefully, from what it sounds like, is Aaron passes the torch to Will Howard. Will Howard will be on a rookie deal, a fifth-round rookie deal, which is much less for the next 4 years, foreseeable future. So if you are to pay somebody now, and including last year, would be a good time to do it if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes.
That's a quarterback contract, though.
Yes, it is.
That he would be getting the quarterback contract
Not a good
for the
quarterback,
Pittsburgh
but-
Steelers. Yes, but $42 million is
It's a quarterback contract
hefty.
for sure.
Yeah.
But no, there is no imminent big quarterback contract coming. Whether it is Will Howard next year, or they watch Will this year and they decide he's not the guy or whatever, and they have to draft another rookie next year. Like there's not a huge quarterback contract on the books anywhere in the near future.
And it feels like if we listen to what Watt has been saying, JJ, he's talking about his own deals, and he's saying if you get these done earlier, everybody's happy too. You're able to get a lower price. Everybody's happy. If you just continue, like I think he was talking about the Trey Hendrickson situation, where you're like, "Hey, we'll take care of you next offseason." At some point, the player's going to be like, "All right, you got to, even if they're the most committed player to the team, it's like, hey, everybody else around me is getting paid market value except for me. I'm trying to be the good guy. You said you'll do it. And then inevitably you've delayed this to a point where now the market is what it is. Like this is just kind of how it goes. And I'm not saying there's any heat between TJ and the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Pittsburgh Steelers and TJ Watt or Yinzers and TJ Watt or anything like that. But it is like TJ seemingly has got to a point where he's like, I feel like I've been good by you guys. And I think that's very fair for TJ to do. Same with Trey Hendrickson.
I agree.
Rap sheet.
I agree. And this is why, no one should be. I know fans kind of don't love this, but these guys are awesome and they should get rewarded.
There's
that's
some
sort of what it boils down
douchebags
to.
in the NFL. Not everybody's awesome. A majority of people are awesome, though.
But not these guys.
These guys are awesome. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. You were. I thought you were.
No, it's fine. You're right. I mean, not everyone deserves all the money, but no one should be upset at these guys wanting money. It has not affected. I know it's been like a story of the offseason. It hasn't affected the team in any negative way because they haven't played, and both these guys have played awesome. So they should get the money, and I think they will.
We've put TJ on the Pittsburgh Steelers schedule graphic because we all just kind of assume they're going to do that.
Yep.
Have not put Trey Hendrickson on Cincinnati Bengals.
No.
Yeah, you assume it's going to get done, though. You said you're optimistic, so I believe what you're saying, especially in this empty nest syndrome that you are currently battling with your boys leaving today for 7 weeks. Let's stay in the defensive end, quarterback hunting world. Go ahead, Foxy.
Ian, what about Aidan Hutchinson? Is he going to get extended this offseason, or are the Lions going to wait and see how that leg is holding up?
I'll answer the second part first. I do not get the sense that the Lions are nervous about Aiden's recovery or rehab or his leg. It seems like it's going great.
I am.
It seems like they have a lot of confidence in it, and I think they should. He looks good. I traditionally, what the Lions have done is take care of their awesome players early and with huge salaries. Like they did it with Sewell. They did it with
St. Brown.
St. Brown,
McNeil,
Kirby Joseph.
That's right. There you go.
You don't know shit.
We'll do your
Hey,
job.
we'll do your job, Ian. Yeah, we'll do your job. We've seen you a couple. Hey, we've seen you.
It's the summer.
Well, I understand. And the boys just left.
Yeah.
We saw you left there. Is there a note board right there of all the notes to your left?
No, my note board's over. Oh yeah, over there. Well, I have like all my outstanding issues that like need to be solved that I have to remind myself to check on throughout the summer.
Haven't heard Hutch's name much in any of these conversations that we've had.
It's on the board.
No, yeah, I'm saying he's on your board. We haven't really even broached the subject of Hutchinson. We assume he's going to be healthy, and then I think at one point we assumed he was going to get paid, right? Wasn't that like just kind of the narrative?
Yes, exactly.
So that's going to happen.
He's got 2 years left, right?
He's got a year and
2
then the
years
fifth-year
left.
option.
They extended Sewell when he had 2 years as well.
Okay, so that is why people are saying precedent has been set that this would be when they would reward somebody, especially if they showed up in the way that they did. He was potentially going to be a defensive MVP last year.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
He was outrageous.
Didn't he finish like top 10 in pressure still?
He had
there was some absurd stat.
He had
where
like
was-
8 sacks
What
through the 5
sacks
weeks
did-
or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that had to suck so bad for him. Hey, he had figured out the NFL.
Yeah. I think he led the league in like percentage of defensive snaps at one point too.
Yeah, he was defensive MVP, like on track. Like, hey, this was hometown guy doing it for the hometown team.
Exactly.
Living up to the hype of everything that they've said. And he was on the track, and it's like, holy shit, this is the next one. And then all of a sudden it just gets taken from you
Yeah,
immediately.
he was the first one to go, and then basically the whole defense got injured after that.
Oh, yeah, I remember there was this.
Oh, God.
Because you guys played the Colts, and you had like 2 of your starters still playing from the injury bug.
Exactly.
Branch, everybody.
All right, Rap.
McNeil, Barnes, the whole
Carlton Davis.
Yeah, they
Carlton
went
Davis,
through. They
Focus
still number 1 seed.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
15-2.
And then in the first playoff game, what was it, like the first series where Amir Robertson, who was already replacing Carlton Davis, had his arm bent and shattered against the Commanders?
Are we not talking enough about how the Detroit Lions are the team poised to make a Super Bowl run next year? Kelvin Shepard now, new DC, friend of the program, absolute dog. Dan Campbell, I've only seen a couple photos, but I assume he's breaking chains.
I mean, Frank Ragnow retired. That is huge.
Huge.
Yeah. Big Johnny Morton, new OC.
Yep.
Well, entire new coaching staff. I mean, like
damn.
the whole coaching staff except for
Yeah, well, Kelvin was
Campbell.
on the linebacker, so he was there. He was a little familiar.
Saw what happened to the Eagles, though.
What?
The Eagles went to the Super Bowl, lost their entire staff, and then it took them a couple years to get back.
And what did they do?
And then they won the Super Bowl.
By how much?
By, what was it, 30 points?
So much. So many points.
25 or something?
I saw Saquon Barkley talking about it. He's been doing some media, doing some golf stuff. You still golfing? Even more now. Jesus. Every day.
yeah.
Max and Jude, where are they? I don't know. Where are the clubs?
Yeah.
Is that
I'm
what we're-
starting to play. I'm starting to